So before I came here, there was a proud tradition of a mission trip, and I heard a lot about it when I first got here, and it was a wonderful trip to Hollywood, South Carolina. The previous rector had a special place in his heart for that area. He had read about or saw in the news that a lot of folks were being disenfranchised, that a lot of folks that were given land after the abolition of slavery had very tenuous claims to the land in terms of deeds, and because what was seen as marshland and worthless at one point was now very profitable land because of the resorts and the proximity to water, and they worked to help secure the area and provide substantial housing. A lot of the houses had fallen in disrepair, and so for years we would send children and adults alike down to Hollywood, South Carolina, and we did that for years. And then the mission trip, it had a few changes over the years, but during COVID, for 3 years, we weren't able to go. And we had a group of seniors whose older siblings had been able to go. And one of the things that we were disappointed in is that if we didn't hurry up and get a mission trip together, they would have their whole high school career without going on a mission trip. And so we put together our first trip to Hurley almost exclusively with seniors who had wanted to have the experience that their older siblings before them had had. And this is now our fourth trip that has been there. And many of our seniors, for the first time in years, can say that they have had 3 experiences. So the seniors who've been on the 3 trips, why don't you stand up so they can see? And you'll hear the different perspectives from Henry, who's been on 3 trips. And then we have some of our juniors who've been on 2 trips. So we have 3 that have been on 2 trips. Can you all stand up? And then we have 2 folks, and this is not our whole group, but we have 2 that this is their first trip. Can you guys stand up? And this is the first time we've been able to have an assortment like this since before COVID. So it's great that we've had folks that have had various experiences through various number of years, and it wouldn't have been possible without the support that you all give to this program. And now, with no further ado, we're going to hear 3 different perspectives from folks. So thank you all for having the courage to come and tell your story. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name's Henry Heyman, and this year marks my 3rd and final trip to Hurley. For those of you who don't know, Hurley is a small coal mining town in southern Virginia, near the West Virginia state line. The town is full of poverty and addiction, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my specific job site because I think it's one that affected me the most in all my years going on this trip. The week started kind of slow for me. I spent the first day just at the community center rather than going to a job site, which was tough for me because I felt like I wasn't doing as much as I could. This feeling of being restrained was one that I've struggled with every year. Ava asked a great question in our small prayer group that really got me thinking about this feeling. She asked, "Was one virtue that you hope to strengthen this trip?" My first thought was patience. Patience not only in Hurley, but also in my everyday life. You have to have patience with the people around you, with the mentors, and with yourself. Sometimes things don't move as quickly as you want them to, and sometimes the impact you make is not immediate. But this trip reminded me that helping people is not always about how much work you complete, sometimes just about showing up with kindness. Later in the week, things worked out and we got assigned to a job site. I was excited that I was going to make a visible impact, but that excitement quickly faded as we learned the dark backstory of the house. The house belonged to Glenn, one of the mentor's sisters, who unfortunately overdosed and passed away 3 months prior. I can confidently say that I've never seen a house in that poor condition. But what impacted me the most was not the house itself, it was seeing how deeply Glenn still cared for his sister despite everything that had happened. Even in the middle of grief and hardship, Glenn still showed up every day with a smile on his face, ready to work. We moved furniture for hours, and in some ways it felt like we were unpacking that woman's life. I also had to use patience on this job. As much as I wanted to pack up, everything and get out of there, a lot of stuff had to be sorted through, and I had to use patience to stay motivated. This house also changed the way I viewed the other houses and people in Hurley. From the outside, the house did not look nearly as bad as it was on the inside, and it made me realize how easy it is to make assumptions based on appearances. Some of the deepest struggles are the ones you cannot immediately see. That experience taught me not to judge either houses or people by what they look like on the outside, because everyone is carrying struggles and stories that we may never fully understand. As this was my final year going to Hurley, I know I will carry these lessons with me for a very long time. I am grateful for everyone there, for the mentors, and for all of you whose prayers and support made this experience possible. I also highly encourage other high schoolers to join this trip. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Carson M, and I'm going to be a senior at Highland School in the fall, and this is my second trip to Hurley, Virginia. This week was a really meaningful experience for me and for our whole St. James team. We spent our time helping with different projects around the Hurley community, including food distribution at the community center, building and finishing ramps for people who needed safer access to their homes, cleaning out and repairing a house, and helping with scraping and painting projects. We also learned how important teamwork is. Each day, we broke into different crews so we could help in more than one place at a time. Everyone worked hard, encouraged each other, and jumped in wherever they were needed. It was cool to see how much we could accomplish when we all worked together. One thing that stood out to me was how much the work mattered to the people that we were helping. Some projects may have seemed simple at first, but they made a real difference in someone's life. It also reminded me how important it is to show up, work hard, and be willing to serve wherever you are needed. The people of Hurley were incredibly welcoming to us. They treated us like family, fed us amazing meals, shared their stories with us, and made us feel at home. A few of my favorite moments was the spaghetti dinner and the taco soup that Phyllis made for my crew, and spending time together in the evenings. One night, Barrett played the guitar for everyone on the porch, and that was a very special way to end the day. Moments like that helped me understand that the trip is not just about finishing projects, but also about building relationships. I want to thank Ryan, Margie, Chris, Jen, and Father Ben for leading us this week. And I'm thankful for everyone who supported and prayed for us while we were away. This trip helped me see service in a deeper way, and I'll carry the people and experiences from Hurley with me for a long time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ava L, and this was my second mission trip to Hurley. When I got on the bus to Hurley, I thought I knew exactly what I was signing up for. I expected a week of community service, hard work, and spending time with my friends. I thought I was going there to help other people. What I didn't expect was how much this experience would help me. Throughout the week, my group worked on a variety of projects. We painted a porch, packed and distributed food, power washed a slippery ramp, and worked in a basement cutting wood. On paper, those tasks don't seem very extraordinary. They're just projects. But once you're there, meeting the people whose lives are affected by that work, those projects become more meaningful. One of the biggest lessons I took away from Hurley was the meaning of the virtue love. We often think of love as something we say or feel, but in Hurley I saw love as something we do. Love looked like waking up early to work on someone's house you had never even met. It looked like spending time in the rain because someone needed help. It looked like choosing to serve even when you were tired and sore. There were plenty of opportunities to focus on the negatives. It rained, we got muddy, we were exhausted by the end of the day. But what stood out to me wasn't the bad weather or the hard work. What stood out was the positivity of the people around me, especially the chaperones, and their willingness to keep showing up for one another. The projects mattered, but the people are what I'll remember most. I remember Junior, who worked alongside everyone else despite being on crutches, and Barrett, who wakes up every day with a sore back, but never let that stop him. I remember Father Ben, whose leadership reminded us why we were there in the first place. And I remember my friends, who somehow made every long day more enjoyable through their encouragement and laughter. One story that has stayed with me came from my trip to Hurley last year. My group helped build a porch for a home in the community. When I returned this year, Junior told me that whenever people drive past that house now, the woman who lives there is almost always sitting outside on that porch. That really stuck with me because it reminded me that the things we do in Hurley don't just matter for a week. They continue to impact people's lives long after we've gone home. The experience also made me realize how fortunate I am to have grown up surrounded by people who believe in giving back. My parents taught me the importance of helping others alongside St. James School and church, which have consistently encouraged service throughout my life and shown me what it means to put faith into action. Because of those influences, I've been surrounded by people who don't just talk about kindness and generosity, they practice it. Looking back, I realized that when I got on the bus and thought I was going to Hurley to make a difference in someone else's life, well, I hope I did do that, the real change happened within myself. Because being in Hurley taught me that even small actions of service can have a lasting impact. It showed me that faith is not only something we believe, but something we live out through our actions. Most importantly, it reminded me that when people come together to serve others with love, they can build something that lasts for beyond a single week, whether that's a porch, a community, or a relationship. Thank you.
Thank you all. And our young people have absorbed a whole lot this week. Our adults have absorbed a whole lot this week. I think we'll be processing it for a while. I had one image that stayed with me. The elder statesman there, who is now bent over more than he was when we first met him 4 years ago, who plays guitar and banjo every year for the kids. A gentleman named Barrett, who's got black lung and broken back, but still shows up on the worksite every day, was driving me around town with a couple of us, and it was one of the more harrowing experiences. We got stuck 4 times in the mud. And it was such a metaphor as his tires are spinning and he's not going anywhere and his smile doesn't leave his face. And one of the other folks that help out had to get his tractor and hook up and do that twice to get him out. And they did it all with a smile. But as we were driving around the town, Barrett points to a house. And it's a house I hadn't noticed before, despite driving by it about 7 or 8 times. It was larger than all the other houses, but it looked almost equally as worn. And he said, "That house is huge. I did some work in that house. There's a swimming pool inside it. It had belonged to one of the mine owners. At one point, there was 47 working mines in that county, in Buchanan County. There is now 2.5, and they don't employ many people at all. I asked if he still lived there, and he said, "Oh, no, he's long gone, as are all of the other mine owners." Then the people who are left, they know what's coming. The people who are left, they don't. And we saw the distinction between those who stay and those who extract what they need from the land and the people and move on. And as these young people figure out what kind of lives they want to live, that dichotomy became clear. They saw people who stayed. And it's not easy to stay. It's not easy to give everything you have to a community. And from 80-some years to 60-some years with one leg, they stay day in and day out and make an impact on their community. And their community would be a lot different if they didn't show up one day. And so I hope these young people who have shared with us their experience continue to think about what they want to be in life. And I hope they share that with all of us, that the people who stay and roll up their sleeves, especially when it's not easy, are the people that live out of the last line of today's gospel, the people that carry their cross and reveal God to the world. So thank you. Thank you. Amen.